everybody. Welcome. This is Pat Hand back to you with Let's Talk Travel. And here is, I'm so excited, folks. I'm so happy to welcome back my associate, my marketing director, Kevin Gregg. I'm so glad to have him back with Dancing Moon Travels. Let's Talk Travel. As many of you know, he lives remotely over just outside of Dublin. Kevin, did you have anything to say off the top here?
Well, first, yeah, I'm thrilled to be back on these broadcasts. They're a lot of fun, and when they were at the different times, I felt like I was a little bit out of the loop. So I guess one thing that we want to do with me coming back, we've introduced just last week a new drawing that we're going to do for some great prizes. Here's one of the prizes. It's a prize package. These are packing cubes. So that's part of the prize. The second part of the prize package is we have these great looking passport wallets. They got 30 different types of designs that you can pick from. And as a prize package, we're going to give this away at the end of July. So what you need to do is stay online with us throughout the entire broadcast. At the end of this broadcast, we will give you a secret, super secret code word.
Classified.
Yeah. And all you got to do is type that code word into the comments. You'll be entered into the drawing at the end of July for those great gifts. And Pat doesn't give away junk. So these are great things. If you want to go to the Dancing Moon Travel Facebook page, there's a great video on there that I found where a guy gives a review of those packing cubes.
They're really cool. And those passport holders, it's a set of them, folks. So you can have one for your husband, your traveling companion, your sister, whoever you usually travel with. So this is a really cool prize, and we're delighted to give that away. Yeah. Well, we might order some for ourselves also. So we're going to start off this morning sharing a little bit about a destination that Kevin knows really, really well, since he now lives just outside of Dublin. He's going to share a little bit about what makes Ireland such a fabulous travel destination. And folks, really, we've sent a lot of people to Ireland and never had anybody who just didn't fall in love with that beautiful destination and actually look forward to maybe going again. So Kevin has a lot of good information about Dublin, about Ireland in general. So tell us a little bit, Kevin. What is it that makes Ireland such an extra special travel destination?
Well, here's a map to start off with, but I think the reason it's so attractive to people is the people. The people here are so warm. It's just great. And then the scenery. Now, where I live, I'm on the East Coast. On the map there, you see Dublin, and then you see just south of Dublin, Wicklow. I am about directly in the middle between Dublin and Wicklow, right on the coast. The name of the town I live in is Greystones. Now, what's great about Ireland too is the weather. Typically, the warmest months we're into right now. It's July and August is your warmest months. You're talking warm, being 70 in the 70-degree range, with cool nights down into the 50s. Also, I wanted to touch the size of Ireland. If you look at this map again, you see Dublin, and you go west to Galway. That's only about 170 miles. So from East Coast to West Coast, it's 170 miles. From West Coast to East Coast, it's the same, amazingly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then north and south, it's a little more. It's 300 miles, but it's a small area. If you want to come here for a holiday, a vacation, probably May or June and September. And the reason is, in a typical non-2020 year, the tourists are there's fewer tourists in those months, and the weather is still typically pretty fine. And Ireland has a reputation of being a very wet country, and it is. It's why it's so green and beautiful. However, if you would look at the annual rainfall amounts, you're going to say, well, that's not a lot of rain. It's not. But when it rains here, it's what they call a soft rain. It's a light, soft mist. And so you can have every single day with rain for 2 weeks, and you may not get an inch.
Okay.
But and also you can have days where it says it's a 90% chance of rain, but what that means is there'll be sun showers. So it's a great place to come because you're probably not going to get rained out. Put on a rain hat and keep going because it will probably pass.
Okay, so unlike our Florida downpours that we get here in the afternoons, where you literally sometimes have to pull off the road, or those days when I lived in Minnesota, where it would just rain day after day, all day, every day at certain times of the year. So nothing like that.
No, not really. And then the hardest adjustments people might have to visiting Ireland, of course, is they drive on the opposite side of the road than the U.S. And I moved here in September of 2017. September of 2017 is the last time I drove a car.
Wow.
I do everything by train or bus, which has been a little bit of a challenge here lately. Again, like everything else going on, they've restricted a lot of the travel and things like that. But the other things that you could be aware of is actually, on the Irish speak English, but some of them have an accent that is almost impossible to understand. Especially different. There's different regions where the accents are crazy, and then they have terminology that's different. Like if you go into a shop and you order chips, potato chips, you're going to get French fries. If you order cookies, a cookie is a biscuit. The trunk of your car is the boot. The kitchen cabinets are the kitchen press. Your closet is a wardrobe. So there's a lot of things like that. If you're a tourist, you might hear a few words and you're like, you don't really fully understand what they're talking about.
What they're trying to tell you. So, Kevin, if I wanted to come to Ireland, and I do, by the way, I haven't had an opportunity, but that's one of the places that's high on my list, obviously, at this point. But if I come, when you said September's a good time, but how many days should I plan if I wanted to do? Let's say I want to do that loop around the southern part of Ireland that's so popular with most of our clients.
Well, I've been here going on 3 years. You don't need that much. Um, I'd say I'd say 7 to 10 days.
Okay,
Um, you don't want to be too rushed. Um, uh, I mean, it's a small area, but there's a lot to see.
right. It's not one of those areas where you want to just go racing through and cram it all in, because you really do want to just want to see a lot of what the country has to offer. I see we got several people out there saying hello, Kevin. Jan
Oh,
Fowler, hey Jan, Kathy. We've got John Grindell on. Hey John, good to see you. And Nancy's on. My friend Nancy from St. Louis. A big shout out to Nancy and Sandy. How does Sandy wants to know, Kevin, how cold does it get in around those parts in the worst of the winter if you came in January, say?
January and February are the coldest months, and you're looking at probably lowest temperatures being in the low 40s. It does dip down into the 30s occasionally, but it's again because it's wet. It chills you to the bone sometimes, and it's very windy, and that very windy. I live on the coast, East Coast. The West Coast is even windier, but it's windy. It's 40 degrees, and snow. We may get a dusting, might get an inch. Now, right about sometime in the winter of 2018, I believe it was, they had a record snowfall of snow that they hadn't had in something like 60 years. And I believe here where I live, we had about 8 inches of snow, and the whole city's, the whole country shut down for a week because they don't have snow removal equipment.
Just kind of like when I lived in Atlanta, it just came to a screeching halt. You've been
So
there, you've done that
I
too.
hope that answered her question.
I think it probably did. And Sandy, we're glad to have you. Jan says she's a friend of hers from back in her high school days. So it's been about
Ah,
10, 12 years since they got out of school, I think, maybe somewhere along there.
yeah.
Evan, I wanted to touch on here. We did a few months back, we did a small group tour uh, John Grindell says no white Christmases. It'd be a stretch, I think, huh?
We do
uh,
we get if you get a
but
dusting
I
on
wonder,
white, yeah, you can get a dusting. Yeah, you were
it could happen.
referring to our. We had a, small group tour that we put together in September of 2018, and we had 5 people join us. And you were earlier talking of this loop. Uh, I have yeah. There's kind of a the loop that we took. We started off in Dublin and did that entire loop, and um, we customized this itinerary, and uh, we included our own private van and driver and guide. We included hotels, attractions, some food. So it was a great package because we were private, small, and we were able to customize things as we there were times that the weather turned on us, and the driver says, "You know what? Let's do this. Let's go there instead. Then we'll turn around and go back and do something else." If you were on some sort of a large one of those large tour coaches or a bus, huge
Right.
bus, they wouldn't do that.
We have 50 of your closest friends. Yeah, it was, Kevin, one of the things is about, I love these small group tours. And like you said, this one was totally custom. But the thing about doing a small group, some people are put off by the idea of a tour, but It is a great way, particularly the small groups where you've got 15 people or so or less, uh, because you've got your guide who is a native to the area and they know everything about
Oh
it.
yeah.
And
Well,
you have their input and they can give you the context. I mean, we do self drives there too, where people can rent a car and go through the same thing. But there's something about the escorted tour. You are actually getting to know people and you are really connected and that you understand what you see.
well, I have I have several pictures to show you to share with people of our group. Here's our group, and John Grindell, you may know some of these folks. There's the three brothers there. That's Dale and Mike and Steve Arnold. You may know them, and then Martin and Linda. So you may know those five people that went. This is at a place called Sally Gap. And Sally Gap is in the Wicklow National Forest. And I'm sorry, forest, Wicklow National Park. Uh, and it's like a 77 square miles of land like this. I have another picture of that. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, here, it's a very desolate road that you're on, and you welcome having a driver that knows where he's going and what he's doing when you're going up around there. We also visited a place called Powers Court, and Powers Court is it's 47 acres of gardens and trails and it's just it's a beautiful area to walk around. And you know, that's about a 20-minute drive from my house, so it's easy to go there and just walk around. Here is Martin and Linda in a park called Glendalough. Now, in the background, right behind Martin's head there, you can see a tower, and that is St. Kevin's Tower.
Oh,
This Glendalough it's a huge area, and I don't remember exactly how huge it is, but it's a monastic village, and I hope I pronounced that. But it was founded by Saint Kevin in the 6th century, and so there are some ruins and gravestones and things that date way back to that time.
wow.
When we were in Dublin, we went to the Guinness Factory. Um, what a fun day that was.
I bet.
You get to see how they make Ireland's favorite drink, and it's a really wonderful tour. And when the tour, well, it's a self-guided tour. You walk through it yourself, but when it's over, you go up to the penthouse, which has a 360-degree view of Dublin, and you get a free pint. Now, two of the guys opted for a lager. One of them went ahead and got the Guinness Stout. We also visited Trinity College and saw the
The book
this
of
this is
is
the
that what
Book
that
of Kells, and this is in the long room, the long room or the long library. So interesting place to go there. Then here's your typical Cliffs of Moher shot. This is all the way over on the west coast around the Ring of Kerry. And it's hard when you look at scenery to look at it and say, and really understand the perspective and how exciting seeing those tall cliffs can be. There's Martin and Linda enjoying the view up there. We had beautiful, beautiful weather in September. As you can see, they're taking their jackets off and enjoying the sunshine. So we had a great trip. The hardest part about putting this together to show everyone today was I have hundreds of pictures and I could go on all day, but I just picked out a few. And then the worst thing about the entire trip was when it ended. This is the bus station
Oh,
I had to take to go home on Sunday after spending a week with those 5 people that we laughed, we had so much fun, saw so many different things. And then this is what greeted me on Sunday morning, an empty, desolate train station that I jumped on.
that was sad, Kevin. You know, Kevin, I haven't even told you yet, but you know, obviously this year's tour got canceled, but
Yeah.
we are doing it in the books for next September. We've moved that tour. So next September, folks, if it's kind of ring your bell, we're going to be doing that. And by the way, Kevin, how were the accommodations on that trip? Were they up to par?
I'll check my calendar and see if I'm available next September. The accommodations were 4 and 5 star type hotels. Um, it, you know, I couldn't imagine staying at places that were any better. It was just overall everything was perfect. Everything worked out. We had the best driver and guide that you could ever dream of. He was funny. He was knowledgeable. He was like part of the gang.
I heard nothing but rave reviews from our guests on that trip, and John and Jan are both wondering about Waterford. Definitely, it's still there and would be included. No trip to Ireland would be complete without passing through Waterford, right?
Um, okay. I'm I'm not a huge fan uh, of Waterford. There's, in my opinion, a lot of other places that's much more enjoyable to see.
Well, but if people wanted to go,
They
we'll
want to
make it.
go. I'll just sit in the van and sulk.
Jan has a very important question. She wants to know, will there be toast?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
If anybody's listening who doesn't know Kevin, he has a thing about toast. It's well known. It's a standing joke about Kevin and toast. And so with Kevin, there's always going to be toast. There may be a toast at the end. We could arrange for a toast, which would be entirely different than the regular toast. But in fact, we included a full Irish breakfast. It was much more than just toast. So every morning, yeah, there was a full Irish breakfast, and there will be on tour the next time around. But
Yeah, and we also went to a dinner show where we saw live traditional Irish dancing and singing and had a great dinner there. So that was fun as well.
yeah, well, we put it on next time around too. Listen, I can't believe how fast the time's going, but we wanted to cover some of our personal favorite destinations on this presentation here. We thought that'd be fun to just tell you from all of our travels what we have really enjoyed the most. And Kevin, I'll go first. Ladies first. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So one of my all-time favorites, folks, I loved Alaska. And if at all possible, do the land and sea tour. If you don't do the interior, you're missing so much. You will never forget that train ride that takes you from Anchorage up to Denali and on to Fairbanks. But you will miss um, Denali Park, where you will see things like reindeer or caribou, as they're called in the wild. The same animal, different nomenclature. Uh, if you're on that train and you have breakfast, which you will, uh, be a little adventurous. Try the reindeer sausage. It is amazing. but there is so much to see. Here's another, just an image from Alaska. I forget where that is, but folks, you want to, if you do Alaska, do the tour first, because there's some early mornings, but get out there and see that. Then move on and get on the cruise ship. And there are a couple of different itineraries. In fact, if you have done Alaska and have not done the inland tour, I suggest you go back. Just go back, see it again. And there's an itinerary I'd recommend for the people who have already been there once. But then you get on the cruise ship and you relax and kick back and do your own schedule. But that's one of my all-time favorites forever. Second runner up to Alaska. And Alaska, easy to get to, it takes the American dollar, if you can believe. So it's really an easy one. Another one that I loved is the Danube cruise. The river cruise. People, if you don't like cruising, you're going to love the river cruise. There's several different, everybody knows the one that begins with V, and that's wonderful. But there are several levels. You've got the entry level. You go up to, and the differences between your cruise ship is going to be how many people it accommodates and what all is included. So several different options there depending on your travel preferences. But some of the things that we saw, I love Budapest, and here I am. This was outside a hotel where we had a wonderful, I was with Talc on this for their small group river cruise. It was amazing. This was outside one of the hotels where we had a delightful lunch. Here's another picture. This is outside of our pre-cruise hotel, the Kempinski Hotel. This happened to be, there's this fabulous pedestrian mall back there with all kinds of shopping. It was absolutely beautiful. So after a couple of days in Budapest of sightseeing, then we boarded our vessel, and these are just a few of the images that we saw. This was actually in a local home. One of the things they did is they divided us into small groups, and groups of 4 to 6 people would have the opportunity to actually go in and visit actual homes, talk with people from the area. Talk about cultural immersion. You got a chance to have your questions answered. We saw the Budapest, Vienna, the big cities, but we also stopped in these delightful little villages along the way. Here's Linz, and it was just stunning. Here is inside a small, out of the way cathedral. Folks, it was just amazing. The scenery, the people that we were on the tour with. I was on my own, so I was a solo traveler. I was a little concerned. I'm not accustomed to traveling alone halfway around the world, but it was wonderful. The warmth of the people and how welcoming. I loved the small group experience. It was fabulous. Finally, my third destination that I can recommend, the Amazon River. If you ever want to get off the beaten path, this was an amazing experience going to the Amazon. It was such a learning experience. It was like being on I felt sometimes like I was on a separate planet. It was so amazing. Here's some of the things we saw. This was a piranha that we caught. Actually, we fished for piranha on one of our excursions. They fried that up right there on the little boat we were on. They fried up our catch. We all got, it was delicious, but you would not believe what they say about the teeth is actually every bit of it's true. You do not want to touch the tooth. It's like a razor, it will slice you. So Kevin, that's my 3 top. By the way, the Amazon, if you are a lifetime learner, this is a great choice for you because you will learn so much and see so much on that destination. It is great for you lifetime learners out there who love to learn. So Kevin, what about you? What are your all-time favorite choices?
Well, that was hard. I've been to over 15 countries, and trying in every state but 2 or 3, I think. So it was kind of difficult to narrow down, but I picked Prague in Czechia, or Czech Republic, as one of my choices. What I like about it's an old place, you know, but I had a hotel that was very close to what they call Old Town Prague, and the picture on the left is a church that is the Church of Our Lady, and those 2 spires are called Adam and Eve for some reason. I'm not sure why. And then the image on the right is the Prague Castle of Prague. Guinness World Records books says that it's the largest ancient castle in the world. When I'm out traveling, I love going through little narrow streets, and Old Town Prague is perfect for this. It's not something I maybe really recommend for inexperienced tourists unless you're with a group, but I love venturing out on my own and exploring these narrow streets that gets me away from the tourist crowd. Other things that's great to see in Old Town, they have a clock there that's 600 years old, and it still works. And they have a daily chiming, I guess is what you'd call it. But that was a lot of fun. Trying to think what else. Oh, St. Charles Bridge. It goes over the Vltava River. The St. Charles Bridge, that was actually, construction started on that in the year 1357. So it's lasted pretty well, I'd say. So that's one of my choices of destinations to go to. My second choice, I think, is in Italy, and it's in Sorrento. Now, if you're not familiar with where Sorrento is, on the map here, you see Rome, then the down south of that is Naples, and right there by Naples, you can't see it, is Sorrento. I was fortunate to have a room overlooking the sea. I was greeted with this kind of sunrise some mornings, and just absolutely beautiful. That's Mount Vesuvius in the background. And then that's a winding road right there in Sorrento. But Mount Vesuvius is the volcano that erupted in 79 AD that buried the city of Pompeii, which has been excavated in another great day trip to take. See.
And Sorrento,
What's that?
Sorrento is kind of like really kind of an entry part, a good place to stay to explore the Amalfi Coast along there.
That's the Amalfi. That's Amalfi. The Amalfi Coast is a 30-mile stretch of long, twisting, windy, check your breath type road that I was in a van with a professional driver. I don't recommend people doing it on their own because some of those bends and turns, I do not know how we made it without scratching up the car, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scenery. And then we stopped at several different places along the way. And then lastly, I'm going way back to 2006, I think. And my all-time favorite place in the world is Switzerland. And I stayed in a little place called Glendalough. And on the map, it's kind of located right under the E in Switzerland. And I had the luck of getting a boutique hotel with a balcony that overlooked this. That is a that is the view I had off my balcony. And one night it snowed in the higher elevations, but down in the valley we didn't get a bit. And the images were just amazing. I could sit there on the balcony and watch the mountains all day long. I also took a hike up into the Alps, and it was in the spring, and I saw maybe 6 people the whole time. I went up as high as you could before the trails closed because there was still snow. So everything was melting, the streams were running. It was just beautiful. Here is a shot of the cable car, which was still closed. They were not running. But I can't wait to go back. It's been too long since I've been to Geneva because I lived in Lyon, France for a while, which is only 95 miles from Geneva, but never into the interior of Switzerland, up into the Alps like I did on this trip. So
Wow.
there you have it. That's a really quick rundown of 3 of my favorite spots.
Fabulous. It's an amazing world we live in. I'll be so glad when things open up and people can start to explore some of these amazing destinations. We've had a few comments along the way. Dan says the river cruises are fabulous. And yes, Jan, they are. And I honestly, they're amazing for everybody. Non-cruisers who think they don't like cruising, a river cruise will be right up your alley. And let's see here. Somebody just said they didn't know. I think it was Jan again, who didn't know that you could eat piranha. I found out, yes, you can, and it is absolutely. I can still remember how wonderful it was, and just lots of great great comments here about your images, Kevin. Kevin is a much better photographer than I am. I point and shoot, and sometimes I'm like, well, it didn't look like that when I see the picture. But Kevin is a very good photographer, so his images are always great. But Kevin, I see I can't even believe how fast time goes, but we're the. Hey, does anybody out there have any of these destinations you want to add to your bucket list now? Have we given you any inspiration for a new place you'd like to visit? Let us know if you have. I'd love to know that something we showed you was an inspiration for you. I know that Kevin is always inspiring me with his travels. We love to feed your travel dreams, folks. That's just what we love. Kevin, what about that secret code word?
All right. Well, if you guys want to win this prize pack, in the comments, go down and type DMT, as in Dancing Moon Travel Rocks. DMT Rocks. So put that in the comment. We'll be here on just for a few more minutes. And we'll collect those and put them in the pot. And you can come back next week and enter again.
Okay, I see Cheryl's right on that. She jumped in there, and so is Jan. I mean, they're jumping right on that one. So somebody's going to win this, folks. Phyllis, Patty Leonard, Cress has everybody's got it in there. They want the stuff, Kevin. So we're excited to give that away. But also, I hope you will plan to join us next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about the USA and some possible destinations for you to consider. I know a lot of people are looking to stay a little bit closer to home. And so we're going to look at some destinations. We're going to have our friends from Authentic Vacations. They actually have been instrumental in planning our Ireland trips for us in the past. They do a lot of different destinations in the world. So our friend Michelle from Authentic Vacations is going to be here talking about options for travel in the USA. So Kevin, our time is at a close. So we're so glad you all joined us. It's good to see you, and we hope that you will join us again next week or whenever your schedule permits. Get another entry into that drawing. And thanks again, everybody. And we will see you this time next week. If you have any friends who you think would enjoy this, remind them that we will be hosting a party,
a watch party.
Watch party. That's what I'm trying to say. A watch party tomorrow night, and so they can't enter the drawing. You got to be live for that, but they'd be able to rewatch this. So thanks again, everybody. It is great to see you all on here, and hope to see you next time.
Good seeing everybody. Bye.